Has this ever happened to you? How about this? Or even this? Let's face it, getting exploded by the same old nukage barrels all the time can get somewhat tiresome. But what if I told you there's a way to make this a little bit more interesting? Hey there, Icarus here, and welcome to yet another edition of Doom Mod Madness, where this time we'll be casting an eye over a mod by the name of Not Enough Barrels. What does Not Enough Barrels do? Well, as the intro may have suggested, it takes your standard, average nukage barrel and puts a few spins on it. Around about 40 of them, to be more precise. And the nice thing about this mod is you can tailor it to what kind of experience you want to have. Say you don't want anything too crazy. You simply just want extra barrels. Well, you can set it to the just better barrel setting, turn the extra barrel setting to on, and there you go. You've got a level full of much more barrels than you had before. The Vanilla Plus option will grant you the same barrels, but with a few empty ones which drop additional resources. And then the A Bit of Variety option is where the mod starts to get a little bit more spicy. This is where you'll start to see things such as, 3 barrels duct taped together for a bigger explosion, barrels that will leave burning napalm behind in their wake. You've also got reinforced barrels, which will take a bit more punishment before they go boom. More powerful explosion as a result, and this is a trait shared with another entry in this category, that being the tech barrel. These come in 2 types. The first type will just detonate on impact, giving you a BFG-like explosion, whereas its bigger cousin will take a bit more punishment, sending out a projectile on each hit, before ultimately doing its big bada boom, sending out multiple projectiles alongside with that BFG-like blast. Oh, and there's a nail barrel, can't forget that one. It fires 9-inch nails. See what they did there? Also, they bypass armor. This all pales in comparison, however, with the next option, which is called Everything, by Everyone. Not to be confused with the award-winning film Everything Everywhere All at Once, where a man is exploded into confetti. Seriously, it's a very good film. This, in my opinion, is where Not Enough Barrels finally shows off its true potential. You see, the barrels can always get weirder. On the low end, this can take the form of barrels that are infused with either more interesting or volatile compounds. For example, the ice barrel will freeze nearby enemies on detonation. The lava barrel will send out fireballs. You got plasma barrels, you know exactly how that's going to work out. And, of course, the hydrogen barrel, which is stored under pressure, requires a fair amount of damage to crack open, and when you do, let's just say that you're probably going to want to stand a few paces back. But wait, they can get weirder. You see, some of the barrels here have taken to becoming, sentient? Yeah, sentient, that's probably the word for it. On the low end, this can involve barrels that just simply want to roll themselves in your general direction before detonating. As for others, they've decided to be somewhat more creative with their endeavors to kill the goddamn Doom guy. You see, rather than just rolling up and exploding, they thought, let's give ourselves a little bit more of a fighting chance here. Doesn't have to be a kamikaze endeavor every single time, when we can just strap weapons to ourselves. So yeah, you got that to deal with now. Occasionally a barrel in a jetpack and a helicopter blade, just trying to hose you down from a distance. Heck, sometimes it can be a barrel that's decided it wants to practice magic and has become an amateur mage. You can tell it's a mage because of the little wizard's hat. And then there's the case of just outright imitation. It's no longer enough that they want to destroy us, they now want to become us. Because yes, there is a barrel that will dress up as a marine and use the same kind of weapons in order to try and take you down. I was so taken aback by this at first that I thought a barrel had full on decided to swap sides and was going to start fighting demons with me. But nah, don't be fooled. It's a trick. It's all one big psyop by Big Barrel intended to keep you on the back foot and put you in an early grave. They'll have you spinning in confusion while a pinky barrel is nibbling at your heels, while an imp barrel is trying to douse you with fireballs, and don't even get me started on the archvile barrel. This little irritating son of a gun is partial to the odd homing projectile provided you leave him alone long enough, and will also teleport away upon each successful hit. And ultimately, as is much the case with every barrel here, once you finally pin him down, guess what, you got another problem to deal with, because yes, he's gonna explode. And boy, does he. Funnily enough, you can make this entire experience even more difficult for yourself by stepping up the settings once again to, oh god, they're coming out the goddamn wall setting. In practice, this means that you are now dealing with all sentient barrels all the time. If it can walk, jetpack, or fly, it's pretty much included, and has the sum total effect of essentially adding an additional enemy roster on top of the pre-existing one. It's probably worth mentioning at this point that any semblance of balance is long gone in the rearview mirror. In fact, in the current version of this mod, a few levels will just flat out start with a few barrels right next to you. In more cases than one, this kills the Doom guy, and woe betide, you end up in a level that traditionally has a lot of barrels in it to begin with, because, oh, you're not getting out alive. But hey, this is what the settings are for, and you can indeed control the kind of experience you want to have. That said, the Everything by Everyone setting does still include legendary barrels, and if they are of the variety that is a little mobile, let's just say, yeah, that's a run-ender right there. Holy moly. These things have boss grades of health, boss grades of attacks, and in all honesty, you just should run in the opposite direction. Trust me, it's your best bet. All in all, though, as long as you know what you're letting yourself in for, not enough barrels is a really, really fun time. Personally, I'd love to see a little bit more granularity in terms of the individual barrel loadout settings. It would be nice to tweak the weighting or preference for certain types for sake of example, and just more barrels in general. Bring them on. I love variety in these kind of mods. The wackier the better, and it's already pretty wacky. Word of warning if you're thinking of combining this with certain types of mods. If the mod in question already does something in particular to the barrels, chances are that this might not be compatible, but hey, can't hurt to try. You might also be wondering what might happen if you played this with nuts and a gore mod. Well, yep, that's about all she wrote. If you're interested in giving this a whirl for yourself, the link, as usual, is in the description below, and as always, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, hype, do a little dance, whatever the heck YouTube wants you to do these days. Also got a Patreon, also got YouTube memberships, just in case you feel like throwing me a coin or two. But until next time, this has been Mr. Icarus. Thank you very much for watching. Icarus out.